Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey watching Mike and Natalie. Let's see what happens today while we watch this show, and let's see if anything of interest comes out of my face. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor and a podcaster and a YouTuber. Let's get to it.
Things didn't go the way I wanted, not at all, especially towards the end. Just feeling down, depressed, sad. If I could turn my brain off, it'd probably be nice not to think about it for a little bit, but it's going to be there for a little while.
All right. So this is concerning. There's nothing wrong with drinking alcohol, of course, but we've seen once before, where during a fight with Natalie, he got away, there's nothing wrong with trying to get away, saying, I need to clear my head. If you do that, you want to tell your partner, I'm sorry, I'm freaking out right now. I need a break, but I want to come back and talk about it. People almost never do that. Again, there's nothing wrong with saying I need a break. There is something very hurtful and very scary to someone when you're in a fight and you just bounce. You're just like, screw that. Basically says, one, I don't care about you, and two, I reject you completely. I am done with you. And if you're truly done with someone, by all means, communicate that. But if you don't want to communicate that, then there's nothing wrong with taking a break, but you got to say, I'll be back. I'm really sorry. And if you're one of those people that has a really hard time with other people taking a break, if the other person communicates to you, I'm freaking out right now, I'm totally losing it, I need about a half an hour, I'm going to take a walk around the block. If your spouse does that for you, let them go. Try to deep breathe, do your own emotional regulation, trust they'll come back. So it goes both ways. Anyway, and during the interviews, he can identify his feelings. I'm sad, I'm depressed, I don't know what to do, I'm hurt. But when he's with Natalie, he doesn't, at least what they're showing us on the show, he doesn't communicate that. All he communicates is nonchalant, I don't careness, in the hope that she will magically read his mind and attend to that. He was very, very nonchalant, standoffish, stoicism mode when they had their fight when he was in Ukraine. Now he's back in the States, and he's back near me, Sequim, Washington, not too far from Seattle, across the Puget Sound. And he's sad, he doesn't know what to do, and once again, he's identifying those feelings that would have been very good to communicate to her, but I suspect, total speculation, that early childhood relational neglect, ongoing neglect, whether it was overt or hidden, made him realize, don't communicate your vulnerability to other people because you're going to get hurt. That's just a guess. And what a lot of people will do when they suppress their emotions, and you even heard him say that, he's like, if I could turn off my emotions, that'd be great. And that's what a lot of avoidant people will wish. They're just like, I just hate my emotions. Because our emotions are our friends. I always say that. Emotions tell us our needs. It's important for you to know that when you're having an emotion, because so many people email me and they're like, I have this emotion, how do I cope with it? I'm like, don't cope with your emotions. Listen to your emotions. How do I get over this? How do I move on? Don't move on. It'd be like saying, I'm thirsty. How do I cope with my thirsty? Drink what your thirsty, feelings of thirst indicate to you, now I need to drink of water. Feelings of thirst, this is a giant cup, is it not? But it's a jar, and it's very satisfying. When you have a feeling of thirst, and how many of you just had a drink of water when I did that? When you have a feeling of thirst, it's telling you something, right? We all understand that. But somehow when it comes to biological emotions, if you will, biological urges, we justify that. I have to urinate. I have a feeling like I have to urinate. It cues you, go urinate, right? Well, when you have a feeling of hurt, emotional pain, relational rejection, that feeling indicates to you what you should do. When you feel thirsty, get water. When you feel you have to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. When you have a feeling of hurt, it prompts you to alert to the other person that they hurt you so that they can not hurt you, so that they can repair. That's why we have that emotion. We didn't evolve these social emotions for no reason. They aren't this vestigial element in our evolution. They aren't something that is a pain in the butt that evolution somehow designed for us, if you will. We weren't selected to have these emotions for no reason, just to be an aggravation to our life. No, when we were in a tribe, I'm quite sure of this. I would have to have a time machine and go back and watch from a tree to observe our species as it was evolving. But I'm quite sure of this, that in our tribe of 100 people, that when someone hurt our feelings, we would look sad. We would say, oh, we might even cry. Why do we cry? It's quite clear to me. Now, people always have these ideas. Well, you're trying to get rid of this neurotoxin or this neurochemical through tears. That's absurd to me. Crying is a visual cue to your tribe that you are sad. That is obvious to me. I mean, why do we have water spewing out of our head, and why do we convulse, and why do we wail? Children do this all the time. Babies come out of the womb crying. So it's clear that we evolved this signaling to other people. Why do we signal to other people? Well, because we evolved to depend on each other. We are social creatures. We need constant reassurance that people are on our side and that people love us and that we have security. Without that, we are left in the woods to die by starvation or exposure or a predator. We are in constant need of attachment, no matter what age we are. And so when we can't acknowledge that to other people and we're suppressing that, it's something, it's happening, it's building up, and our efforts to suppress it and our efforts to hide it from everyone else causes this emotion to get more strong because no one knows it's down there. No one can take care of us, and we notice no one's taking care of us, and then it gets worse. Our thirst gets worse, and then we get thirsty for alcohol because alcohol will make it numb. Heroin, opiates make it numb. Marijuana sometimes makes it numb. Compulsive activities like compulsive porn watching, compulsive gambling, compulsive exercise, eating disorders for some will numb it. It distracts you, or it gives you a neurochemical experience of endorphins that even cutting, people will use non-suicidal self-injury in this way because our histories taught us that we cannot alert others to our emotions. When we want to cry, we cannot cry. When we're sad and we want someone to love us, we cannot indicate it to other people. So the feelings just get bigger and bigger, and the longing gets worse, and the disappointment gets worse, and the self-esteem plummets because no one cares. It feels like no one cares. I don't know what to do. I have an urge to reach out, but my God, I cannot reach out. I have an urge to emote, but my God, I can't emote. No one will be there for me. Well, I randomly got drunk when I was 14 years old, and I didn't have those feelings of pain and longing for 3 hours while I was drunk. I smoked pot, and this one time for like a whole evening, all I did was watch cartoons and eat Oreos, and I didn't have to think about the pain that I'm in. Another person of like when I cut and the pain of it was so distracting, and the feeling of endorphins that rushed over me afterwards, for that moment of time, I wasn't suffering. The solution, therapy. Go to therapy. Find a therapist. Many of you are in therapy. Give your therapist a chance. The solution is one, a therapist can help you regulate your emotions. That's important. That's something you can do pretty quickly. It's not usually easy, but it's something you can work on pretty quickly. The second thing is to get rid of things that are getting in your way, like alcohol, dependence, this kind of thing. And of course, listen to your therapist in terms of the recommendations, if they recommend a 12-step program or something. The third thing is corrective experiences. So through vulnerability that you exhibit to your therapist at whatever pace feels okay with you, it's maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone, and the therapist takes care of you, you learn, oh, I can be vulnerable in a safe place, and things won't go badly for me, and things actually go well for me. Someone actually takes care of me. That encourages you to be even more emotive, getting your needs met slowly but surely, repairing from all that relational trauma that you've built up over the years. All those unmet needs can be met. It's like you've been thirsty for 35 years, and you allow yourself to say, hey, can I have some water? And your therapist gives you a little water. And little by little, you're quenching 35 years of thirst. You can't drink a sea of water in one session. You have to have one glass of water every session, and slowly but surely you get your needs met that you always deserve to be met, but you have a lot of backlog of needs to be met. And the other magical thing that happens is you generalize that trust to other people. You start saying, if I can trust my therapist, maybe I can trust others too, and you're less defended. And you signal to other people that you've decided, I can trust this person. You signal to them, they take care of you, and now you're getting glasses of water all over the place. I wonder about Mike and his relational traumas and his avoidance and his deep thirst for closeness and love and vulnerability and having people take care of him, that he's so defended, and then he turns to alcohol to cope with it. I don't know, but it's certainly possible given what we're seeing, which makes me very sad for him, truly. He comes across like someone that's like, he's chill. He's a chill dude from, a rural part of the Seattle area, and, he's just a chill, normal guy. That's BS. It could be BS. It's often BS. I have treated clients like him, and they are deeply emotional creatures. In some ways, they're more emotional than anyone else on the planet because they've never been able to express their emotions. Some of you out there might be able to relate to this. And some of you that can relate to it, and by percentages, I would say a good 25 to 33% of you actually can relate to what I'm saying. And some of you are in therapy, and you're working on it with a therapist, which is great. So you don't need to listen to the rest of it. For those of you who can relate to what I'm saying and you're not in therapy, find a therapist, please. You deserve it. The overarching goal is to be vulnerable with someone that you can trust, that can give you a corrective experience. You ask, can you give me a glass of water, please? Because I'm thirsty. And they give you a glass of water. You say, I need someone to tell me I'm a good person. Can you tell me I'm a good person? Yes, you're a good person. Let me prove it to you that I believe you're a good person. No. I need someone to see me and hear me and listen to me. And last session, you didn't really listen to me very well. Can you hear that? Yes, I can hear that. Thank you for telling me that I wasn't listening to you last session. I can see how you would feel that way. And that makes me sad, and I'm going to really try to listen. Tell me more about how I wasn't listening to you. I will listen to you as you tell me that I wasn't listening to you. Every time you do that, it heals. Now, you could do that with non-therapists if you can't afford therapy. I don't recommend it, but the principle is vulnerability and having people take care of you. That's in a nutshell the corrective experiences that occur, and you get your needs met, which is wonderful in and of itself, but also you learn, I can actually trust people and I can be emotive with all sorts of people. Not everyone, because not everyone can be trusted, but a lot of people can. Let's continue watching.
What's happening, brother?
Huh?
How was your trip?
It was very interesting.
Starving.
Starting like Marvin or what?
Yeah, went to the casino last night and lost.
I've been to that casino. I'm guessing there's a casino in Squim, and I've been there.
Frustration level set in like real quick, I think, and I don't know. I'm just not fully ready to talk about it yet, but
But it's okay.
there was some frustrating parts for sure. It's just fresh, you know what I mean? It just happened, so I just need to, have some reflection time and just gather my own thoughts.
There's nothing wrong with that. Saying, I need some reflection time. I need to gather my own thoughts. Some people are on the introverted end of the spectrum, and that's definitely how they process things. They like to have some time to think by themselves. They don't want other people getting in the way of that, and then they can approach it for sure. But it's also in line with avoidant attachment, which is when you're struggling emotionally, you pull inward and you just say, I need everyone to get away from me, because then I can return to my stable homeostasis of suppressing my emotions and not really recognizing my needs. If I can get to that stable place again, then I'll be okay. I don't know which one it is. Maybe he'll indicate. Let's continue watching.
Goodbye kiss and everything, or?
Not exactly, buddy. Not exactly.
Bro, yeah, bro.
So I will commend him for being a little vulnerable, and that prompted his friend or his uncle or relative, I forget, to hug him, which is part of that corrective experience that I'm talking about. He's vulnerable, someone took care of him, definitely healthy and in the right direction. I would just hope he would get a lot more of that in his life.
If Natalie were to say, let's get back together?
It's just too early to tell right now, dude. It feels like
So you sense the pain, right? You sense the hurt. You sense the longing. It's right there below the surface. And I have faith in Natalie. If he were to let that out, even in like a 5% version, she'll take care of him for the most part. I think that he'll be able to be more vulnerable. She'll take care of him. She can be vulnerable. He'll take care of her. So maybe they can do that.
just don't know anymore at this point,
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to know what it looked like where I grew up, it looked like that. Sequim is near Seattle, and I didn't grow up as a child in Seattle. I was just outside Seattle. And back then it was very rural. It's not this, doesn't look this way anymore, but there were barns, and you see those hills and constant clouds, of course, and those kinds of pine trees and that sort of very damp, mossy, grassy area. It's very familiar. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle, in which I watched the show. If you don't know this, we have a podcast that is non-video. It's just audio, and you can access it on your phone. If you have a podcast app or Spotify, you can access our, I think, over 1,000 episodes that you can listen to on various topics. I go into much more detail on some of the things I'm talking about in these videos. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.